professors, students, ladies and gentlemen. We've gathered today for the 11th Annual Symposium of the American Chemical Society, Nigeria International Chapter, here at the University of Ibadan.
Now, sincerely welcome you from far and near. You are welcome to Ibadan. And I'm very sure there is peace. As you come down here in peace, definitely you go back in peace. Welcome to where you eat amala at Ibadan. Let's appreciate one another once again. Let's clap. Yes, in welcoming everybody here. The first person we are going to introduce here, fine, is not here with us, but there's no way we will have this international program that we will not recognize the head of the state, that is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in person of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. And also here in Oyo State, you know, we have number one in Oyo State as well, which is our governor. We have to recognize him as well. He's not here, but notwithstanding, the governor of Oyo State, in person of engineer Oluseyi Abiodun Makinde, will also recognize him. Let us clap for them. And the Minister for Innovation, Science and Technology has been contacted. He said he will join us, but a representative of the minister will have to join us. Ladies and gentlemen, let us appreciate Dr. Kingsley Tochukwu Ude, SAN, is the minister. When the representative comes, we will let you know. And also, Dr. Adeumi Adetumobe is the Honorable Commissioner for Health in Oyo State. She too said she will send a representative. Definitely, when they come, we will let you know. Let us appreciate her as well. After they identify with us. And the chairman of today's occasion is nobody but the Vice Chancellor of Atiba University, in person of Professor Sunday Odlawale Okeni. I'm very sure Prof will join us as well. And when we are doing this program, we have hosts, we have chief hosts. This program is being hosted, as the chief host of this program is the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, Professor Kayode Oyebode Adebowale, FAS MNI. Let us appreciate my Vice Chancellor, please. Thank you very much. Please do join us as time goes on. And the host of this program is the chair, ACN Nigeria, Professor Edu J. Inna. She's here with us in the hall. Thank you very much, ma'am. We appreciate you. And permit me, ma'am, to recognize, in the hall, Professor Obaleye is here with us in the hall. Let us appreciate Baba. All right. So welcome, sir. Immediate past chair. And chair-elect is also here with us, Professor Fashino. And also we have in our midst the HOD Chemistry Department, University of Ibadan, Professor Oludayo Shodibare. And I've also cited Professor Sharifat Ababa in the hall. You're welcome, ma'am. And also, we have with us Professor Folashade Oyedeji. Ma'am, you're welcome. We have Associate Professor Zakari Abdullahi from Bayero University, Kano. Is the chair, ACN Nigeria, Professor Edu J. Inna. She's here with us in the hall. Thank you very much, ma'am. We appreciate you. And permit me, ma'am, to recognize, permit me to recognize in the hall, Professor Obaleye is here with us in the hall. Let us appreciate Baba. Am I right? Welcome, sir. Immediate past chair, And Chair-elect is also here with us, Professor Fashino. Sharifat Ababa in the hall.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kadri. Thank you so much, Mr. Kadri. In a more special way, I want to welcome our students. Please, can we give you a round of applause for our students? You are most appreciated. Thank you for coming. In keeping with the norm of official gathering in our nation, we will commence this event with the national anthem. May I respectfully invite all to please rise as we take our national anthem. Please be
recognize the Treasurer of ACN Nigeria, Professor Ruth Adelagun. Please forgive me that we I did not make up this, forgive me. And quickly, I also want to recognize Professor Peju Ayela Gunjo, and also all the LOC team led by Professor Daniel Toloede. We also recognize ourselves. Let's clap ourselves, honestly. Thank you.
Now, a round of applause once again for the LOCs. Thank you for a good job, well done. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to warmly welcome someone here, special to us, special to our students. Those that are being partial. I want to warmly welcome my Dean, the Dean of Faculty of Physical and Earth Sciences, University of Lagos. Seated here is Dr. Professor Oti Akete. Thank you so much. A round of applause for her. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Next on the agenda, we enjoy the comfort of this gathering. We look around, everywhere looks beautiful. But we know there's someone who has been diligently working behind or back the stage. That person, just like a catalyst that speeds up the reaction without seeking attention. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to invite to the podium the chair of the local organizing committee, in the person of Professor Ganiyat Oliye, for the welcome address. Prof, please, ma'am. Okay, we are going to skip that, so I know she has been running around for some other things. Now, also, okay, the next on the agenda is the welcome address by the chair of the ACS, Nigerian International Chapter. I want to say something about this woman. I call her a gentle and inspiring leader, a gentle professor. Gentle in her smile, gentle in her speech, gentle in her work, gentle in her action. Her leadership has been a guiding light. It has been a catalyst, and it has also brought growth in chemical sciences across Nigeria and beyond. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Professor Edu Inan to deliver the welcome address.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to first of all appreciate the Almighty God for bringing each and every one of us to this event. I crave your indulgence, please, to stand on the already established protocol, but please permit me to just acknowledge a couple of people who are very, very important for this event. First, I'd like to acknowledge the Vice Chancellor of this great university, even though he's not here, acknowledge him in absentia. I also like to acknowledge the chairman of the 11th ACS Nigeria Symposium Conference, even though I heard he's on his way. And also acknowledge the Minister for Science, Innovation and Technology, who has actually sent me a representative. I acknowledge the head of department of chemistry, my colleague, because I'm also the head of department of chemistry at the University of New So, Professor, we are really acknowledged and welcome. I acknowledge my immediate chairman, who is now the zonal counselor for Zone 4, Professor Joshua Obale. My profs, I acknowledge and welcome. And in that same vein, all the executive members of ACS. Acknowledge our keynote speaker who is here, Professor Franklin, all the way from the United Kingdom, Cambridge University, so you're welcome. Acknowledge all the very distinguished professors, acknowledge the president of ACS and all the directors who are online, and all the online participants acknowledge everyone who has made time to be here. You are all welcome. So for me, it's another wonderful opportunity with humility and gratitude to welcome you to the 11th ACS Nigeria Annual Symposium. On behalf of the Executive Committee, I welcome you. And the theme for this year's symposium, Emerging Technologies in Chemistry for Sustainable Development. Truly, we are blessed in this gathering because we have such diverse people, participants. I acknowledge the participants from other countries. We have people from Ghana who are here. They are most welcomed and acknowledged. Acknowledge this really. We have representatives from academia, from industry, from research institutions, and from the government as well. This truly demonstrates our collective dedication to advancing science, fostering innovation, and pursuing a sustainable future. This year's theme is particularly apt, and I want to give a little background why we decided on this theme. Some 7 years ago, precisely 2019, the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemists started this innovation named IOPAC of identifying emerging technologies from the chemical sciences. And every year they identify 25 out of a pool. And the goals of identifying of this initiative is to showcase the transformative value of chemistry and to inform the general public about the potential of the chemical sciences to foster the well-being of society, as well as the sustainability of our planet. And in 2025, technologies in the field of additive manufacturing, carbon dust, direct air capture, nano chain biosensors, single atom catalysis, synthetic cells, etc. These were the technologies, the emerging technologies from the chemical sciences that were the top among the top 25 technologies in the world. And then for us as a society, that was at the global level. Can we bring it home? Can we identify technologies from Nigeria done by our members? Can we also take these technologies to the global scene as well? So that's why we are having, that's the major goal and objective of this event, and that's the idea behind this year's theme. So over the course of these 2 years, about these 2 days, what do we expect? So we are going to be listening to cutting-edge researches, emerging technologies, and transformative approaches that highlight the role of chemistry in sustainable development. We'll be having special industry session, special student session, and of course tomorrow we are going to be marking the International Global Women Breakfast, which the Women Chemists Committee of our society will be hosting an event. And so the whole idea is that if you come to this meeting, if you have not been thinking technology, by the time you leave this event, you should be thinking technology, you should be thinking innovation, because that is the way the world is going. And over 5 years, the long-term plan is that can we start having some of our own innovations, some of our own technologies being included as the top 25 innovations in the world? So that will be a challenge for me and you, chemists in the house. That's going to be a challenge as we leave this room. So that's why ACS, as the biggest professional body, is starting or strengthening this conversation around emerging technologies. Of course, if you are not inspired, by the time you listen, in the course of this meeting, we have lined up experts, erudite professors in their respective fields who will be giving plenary lectures and keynote address. And the idea is that they will inspire us, they will motivate us to start thinking technology. Because Our country needs technology, not just technology, clean technology that reduces less impact to the environment. That is the way, and as a professional body, that's what we are promoting and advocating for, green technologies. So that's why we're having this event. I'd like to thank all of us, and I'd like to talk about the ACS Nigeria chapter. We are just 11 years old. We were chartered in 2015. Looking back, we can look back with gratitude and appreciation for all the achievements. In the past 11 years, we have hosted 10, this is going to be our 10th symposium. Throughout the past 11 years, our students have had activities in their different communities that have taken the message of chemistry to the local community. In the past 11 years, we started with only 2 student chapters. Now we have 38 student chapters. We started with only 24 members. Today we have over 1,000. We are the largest international chapter. We now have the chapter, the society, the Nigerian chapter has produced the first zonal councillor, because ACS is expanding the governance structure. And Nigeria chapter has produced the first, in a keenly contested election, the first zonal councillor in the person of Professor Joshua Obaleye, my professor. So, and again, the chapter, now we have the subcommittees that are working effectively. We now have the publication committee. The chapter now has produced the newsletters. You can look at our website. Our website now, there's a lot of information, a lot of documents on our website. And previously, you just had a distribution of the student chapters. But now in every geopolitical zone of Nigeria, you have at least 2 student chapters there in that zone. So we now have our conferences now. We now have the book of proceedings that comes out after our conferences, and that is online. And then we host other activities throughout the year, from the Chemist Celebrate 8th Week to the National Chemistry Week, to numerous webinars, all to empower our community. So we are really, really grateful, and we couldn't have done this alone. Be thankful to all the student chapters, all the faculty advisors, all the student executives. We are grateful. All our supporters, all our funders, we are grateful. I'd like to thank all the members of the global community in the ACS, starting with the ACS president, Professor Rigoberto Hernandez. I want to thank the International District Director, Dr. David Wu. We thank Dr. Michael Martinez, the IAC chair, our liaison officer, Jennifer. We thank Dr. Sandra Ross, Dr. Lana, Christiana, Serrano, and all the teams at the Global Engagement Office. Especially, I'd like to thank the Vice Chancellor and all the management staff of this university for granting us the opportunity to host this symposium in Nigeria's premier university. We are very, very grateful and thankful. I'd like to thank all our guest speakers. Thank again our keynote speaker and all the plenary speakers. We are grateful, and we know we are going to learn a lot from you. And also want to thank and appreciate the awardees, because it's very important, to showcase people who have been successful in the chemical sciences, so that our students will not just think, oh, they are just in chemistry because we do not have their admission in medicine or pharmacy or any other thing. No, you are in the right profession. So that's why we like showcasing those people who have made impact in the field of chemistry. So that's why we have the award session, and we are grateful to all the awardees for accepting our award. Not just because of what we did, but what it represents. so that the next generation of chemists can look at these awardees and look at them as their role models. So we appreciate them and we thank them. Especially, I also like to appreciate the Honorable Minister for Science, Innovation and Technology, Dr. Kingsley. The Society has been working closely with the Federal Ministry of Science, and that's why the Minister thought it necessary to send in a representative to this event. So we are grateful. I'd like to thank the LOC because it's not always easy to host this international meeting. I want to thank all the members of the LOC team in this university and the students, the University of Ibadan Student Chapter. Thank you so much. We're grateful. And finally, all the successes that have been achieved by ACS Nigeria did not just come. For the past 11 years, we have worked as a team. So I want to thank and recognize members of the executive committee, starting from the chair-elect, Professor Fashino, Dr. Thompson, Professor Ruth, and Professor Obaleye. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you to all the members of our various subcommittees, and indeed every member of the ACS Nigeria International Chapter. Your contributions are deeply valued and sincerely acknowledged. I want to urge all of us that as we are here as participants, let us engage actively, question boldly, and think beyond conventional boundaries, because today's discussion may really and will actually shape tomorrow's breakthrough. Let us use this opportunity not only to exchange knowledge, but also to inspire, to innovate and collaborate towards a more sustainable future. Once again, I extend a warm welcome to everyone and wish you an intellectually stimulating, engaging, and a highly successful conference. Thank you and welcome.
We can do better. Thank you very much, ma'am. While she was giving her speech, we have some dignitaries that entered the hall as well. Let me start by introducing to us Abdulhamid Kuti from Office of the Secretary General of the Federation. Oh, thank you, sir. That's Abdulhamid Kuti. Thank you very much, sir. All the way from Abuja. We welcome you to Ibadan. Thank you, sir. Also, we have, okay, sir. We have in our the representative of Chemical Society of Nigeria. The president is Professor Sato. We have the representative here, Professor Dr. Esther Faboro from Bowen University. You're welcome, ma'am. Can we continue?
Thank you so much, Mr. Kadri. Next on the agenda is opening remark by the President, ACS. Oh. We'll take this. So the President is already here, Professor Rigoberto Henderson. Please may we listen to his opening remarks. Thank you. Audio.
To large-scale material or biological properties. Hello to everyone gathered for the 11th Annual Symposium of the ACS Nigeria International Chemical Sciences Chapter. As you likely know, I am Rigoberto Hernandez. I am a professor of chemistry at Johns Hopkins University, advancing theoretical and computational methods connecting chemistry to large-scale material or biological properties. I am also the 2026 president of the American Chemical Society. Although I cannot be with you in person, I am truly delighted to join you through this message and to celebrate this important moment with you. This symposium focuses on emerging technologies in chemistry for sustainable development, a theme that captures the power and promise of our science. I share your interest in this area as I was a primary investigator in the term-limited 10-year National Science Foundation Center for Sustainable Nanotechnology, which ended just last year. Our chemistry is at the heart of the emerging innovations in clean energy, advanced materials, water purification, and more sustainable industrial practices. These breakthroughs will shape our future, and they begin with the conversations, ideas, and collaborations taking place at this symposium. This is also a special year for the American Chemical Society. We are celebrating 150 years of advancing in chemistry for the benefit of Earth and all of the world. Our anniversary theme is chemistry is everything, and that statement could not be truer. Chemistry shapes the world around us, and chemists shape the future. I see myself in this team because, for example, I have long been known as an expert in I am certain that everyone in this room can find a connection to our theme because there is no doubt that chemistry is everything. And it is everywhere. As we mark this milestone, I want to recognize the extraordinary accomplishments of the ACS Nigerian International Chapter. Since being chartered in 2015, this chapter has grown into the largest ACS International Chapter in the past year alone. You will 1,000 members. That is a remarkable achievement and a powerful reflection of the energy, leadership, and commitment within your community. Congratulations. I would also like to specifically congratulate Professor Joshua Ayula Obalaji on his selection as an ACS International Zone Counselor. This is an important moment, not only for Nigeria, but for the ACS, as we continue to expand representation and leadership across borders. I look forward to his contributions to our council and to the perspectives he will bring to ACS governance. As ACS president, I have launched 3 initiatives that guide my focus for 2026. And I want to share them briefly because they again closely align with the work and values of this chapter. The first initiative is ACS First. Its goal is to position ACS as a place people turn to when they have questions about chemistry. Whether the world is responding to a Nobel Prize announcement or seeking expert insight on a new scientific development, we want ACS to be recognized as a trusted voice for chemistry. International chapters like yours play a vital role in helping ACS serve a truly global audience. The second initiative is ACS Growth. I am exploring how ACS can offer lifetime memberships as an option for our community. This approach encourages long-term engagement and reflects the idea that belonging to ACS is not simply about paying dues. It is about a lifelong connection to a global network of chemists who support one another throughout their careers. The third initiative is ACS Goal. Last year, ACS updated our core value to inclusion and belonging. This reflects a belief I hold deeply. Every chemist, regardless of background, identity, sector, or location, should feel welcomed, valued, and heard within ACS. The Nigeria chapter exemplifies this value through the way you serve your members and expand our opportunities for chemists across the region. Together, these initiatives reflect one clear vision. ACS is a global society, and we are strengthening our international connections. With new international leaders in our governance and growing chapters around the world, we are building partnerships that will support the next 150 years of impact. As I address you today, please know how grateful I am for your leadership, creativity, and dedication to using chemistry to solve the world's most pressing challenges. You represent the future of ACS and the future of our science. I wish you an inspiring and productive symposium. Thank you for all you do for your communities, for chemistry, and for ACS. Chemistry is everything. And because of you, chemistry is thriving everywhere. Thank you.
Please a round of applause for him. We appreciate you. It says the emerging technologies will shape our future. Why are chemists in the front line? He said chemistry is everything. Like our motto goes, what on earth is not chemistry? It's everything. Thank you for that. A round of applause for us. So we should always carry our shoulder high and know that we are important in the global community. And also, he said, ACS is not about paying your dues. It's about your contribution. It's about what you're contributing for growth in terms of collaboration. So let us make that drive, take over, take charge anywhere we are. Because wherever we are, there is always a reaction. A round of applause for us.
The representative of the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, and you know we've also recognized and we said the representative will come in, and now that she has entered the hall, let us welcome to our midst and bring her to forward here Dr. Stella C. Iguelo. She's the Director, Department of Chemical Technology under the military, under the Minister. Thank you very much, ma'am. You're welcome.
You're welcome, ma'am. Please, may I request that the dignitaries that have been welcomed or that have been called up should please take a seat in the front. That's going to give us a good capture of the photograph according to the photographer. Please, can we just fill up the seat? Thank you so much. Now we want to take our speech from Professor David Wu. Professor David Wu is the ACS International District Director. He's been online to talk to us because he has some other engagements. Please let us welcome him. A round of applause for him. Professor Wu is on the floor. here comes from the media.
Hello, Professor, please can you take that again? You were muted some time ago, so we didn't get to hear it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sorry, I did that.
Hello, Professor. Please, sir, can you start all over again? We didn't get to hear you from here. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. President, I mentioned this represents the formal.
recognize and bring forward is a former president of CSN, thank you, and presently the Vice Chancellor at Atiba University in person of Professor S.O. Okeni. Let us appreciate him and bring it forward. Thank you very much, sir. He is the chairman of this occasion. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I invite the chair, local organizing committee, in the person of Professor Ganiyat Oloide. We've already called her before, but she was not around. She's the one that is organizing everything. I guess she went to prepare for her stomach. Thank you so much, ma, for that. You have the podium with you. A round of applause for her, please.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. As rightly introduced, I'm Ganiyat Oloyede. I'm the chair of the local organizing committee. I stand on the already established protocol. Dear esteemed participants, welcome to Ibadan. On behalf of the American Chemical Society, Nigerian International Chemical Sciences Chapter, it is with great pleasure that I warmly welcome you to Ibadan, Nigeria's historic center of learning and culture, and the old city of the 11th Annual Symposium of the American Chemical Society, Nigerian International Chemical Sciences Chapter, holding at the University of Ibadan from 8th to 11th February 2026. We are delighted to host this important scientific gathering in a city whose identity is deeply rooted in scholarship, innovation, and intellectual leadership. The theme of this symposium is Emerging Technologies in Science for Sustainable Development. Ibadan, where we are today, occupies a distinguished place in Nigeria's academic as a foundation for excellence in education, research, and professional development. The University of Ibadan has produced generations of scientists, educators, policymakers, and innovators whose contributions continue to shape national and global discourse. This long-standing tradition of scholarship, combined with Ibadan's vibrant cultural heritage, creates an environment that is both intellectually stimulating and deeply enriching for scientific exchange. The American Chemical Society Conference in Ibadan brings together chemists, academics, industry professionals, researchers, educators, policymakers, and early career scientists from across Nigeria and beyond. It provides a unique platform for the presentation of original research and the exchange of ideas and the discussion of emerging trends in chemical sciences. Through plenary lectures, technical sessions, poster presentation, and interactive engagements, participants will explore new scientific frontiers while strengthening professional networks and fostering collaborations that extend beyond the conference. Chemistry remains central to addressing many of the present challenges facing our world today, including sustainable development, environmental protection, public health, energy security, and industrial innovation. This conference offers an opportunity to reflect on the evolving role of chemical sciences in these areas and to examine how research, education, and industry can work together to deliver impactful solutions. Your participation reflects the growing strength and relevance of the chemical sciences in advancing knowledge and supporting evidence-based decision-making. Throughout this conference period, participants are encouraged to engage actively in dynamic discussions, interdisciplinary collaborations, and constructive scientific dialogue. The conference program has been carefully structured to promote critical thinking, encourage innovation, and support the exchange of diverse perspectives across subdisciplines of chemistry and allied fields. Whether you are presenting a research paper, delivering a keynote address, leading a workshop, or participating in technical sessions, your contributions are invaluable to the success of this conference and to the continued growth of our scientific community. The University of Ibadan provides an ideal setting for these engagements. Its academic atmosphere, research infrastructure, and tradition of excellence support meaningful dialogue and knowledge exchange. We are confident that the interactions and ideas generated during this conference will lead to new collaborations, strengthen existing partnerships, and inspire future research initiatives with local, regional, and global impact. Beyond the academic program, Ibadan offers participants the opportunity to experience a city rich in history, culture, and natural beauty. The city's cultural landmarks, green spaces, and historic sites reflect its enduring significance as a center of learning and governance. Participants are encouraged to exploit these attractions, enjoy the city's renowned hospitality, and engage with its vibrant cultural life. These experiences provide valuable moments of relaxation and informal interaction, complementing the rigorous scientific discussions of the conference. Ibadan's unique character lies in its ability to blend tradition with modern scholarship. From its historic architecture and cultural institutions to its contemporary academic and research environments, the city offers a setting that is both reflective and forward-looking. We hope that your time in Ibadan will be intellectually rewarding. Sharing the expertise and insights, and to the ACS Nigerian Executive Committee and the American Chemical Society USA for their guidance and continued support. I also acknowledge the dedication and hard work of our partners, collaborators, and members of the local organizing committee, whose commitment has been instrumental in the planning and successful organization of this conference. The invaluable support of our sponsors and institutional partners has further strengthened the quality and scope of this scientific gathering at the University of Ibadan. As we come together over the coming days, we encourage all participants to take full advantage of the opportunities for learning, collaboration, and professional development that this conference offers. We trust that these discussions held here will contribute meaningfully to the advancement of chemical sciences and reinforce the role of chemistry in addressing societal and global challenges. Once again, welcome to Ibadan and to the American Chemical Society 11th Annual Symposium 2026. Thank you for being part of this important scientific gathering. We wish you a productive, inspiring, and memory conference experience. Thank you very much.
Sorry, we can do better. A round of applause for her. Premier University. Please, do we have him around or any of the representatives? Okay. So, can we take the address by the representative from the Secretary of the Government to the Federation? Yeah, you can come up, son. Sir, please, you have 2 minutes for the address, sir. Please, sir, you have to round up. We are running behind schedule. Thank you so much, sir. Please, a round of applause for him. These are the Abuja people. You better clap well. You know what I mean? So can we give him a resounding round of applause? That will bring some.
Kindly permit me to stand on the already established tradition. My name is Abdul Hamid Guti, Deputy Director, overseeing the Department of Economic Monitoring, Multilateral and Research, Political and Economic Affairs Office, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. The Permanent Secretary wanted to be here in person because of the relevance attached to the event. But because of other official engagement, he has asked me to come and represent him. And therefore, I should deliver his heartfelt apologies, and then that I should read out his speech accordingly. It's my great honor and pleasure to deliver this address at the opening ceremony of the 11th American Chemical Society of Nigerian Annual Symposium. I warmly convey the goodwill and best wishes of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and commend the ACS Nigerian chapter for its consistency in advancing scientific excellence and national development through this important annual gathering. The theme of this symposium, Emerging Technologies in Chemistry for Sustainable Development, is both timely and strategic as Nigeria continues to pursue inclusive economic growth, environmental sustainability, and national transformation. Chemistry remains central to addressing many of our most pressing challenges, ranging from energy security, environmental protection to healthcare, agriculture, and industrial innovation. As you are all aware, emerging technologies in chemistry are redefining how nations respond to climate change, manage natural resources, develop cleaner production process, and create value-added. Industrialization, job creation, and the attainment of sustainable development goals. It is therefore imperative that scientific research and technological advancement are deliberately integrated into public policy and development planning. Ladies and gentlemen, it is pertinent to note that the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation recognizes the critical importance of evidence-based policymaking and the indispensable role of the scientific community in informing governance. Strong collaboration between government and professional scientific bodies, such as the American Chemical Society, is essential for translating research outcomes into impactful policies and practical solutions that benefit society. I'm particularly pleased that this symposium brings together experts from the academia, industry, Professor Franklin A. of the University of Cambridge further underscores the international relevance of this symposium and the growing visibility of Nigerian scientific scholarship. To the students and early career scientists present today. The SGF encourages you to see science not only as a tool for discovery, but also as a pathway to leadership, public services, and national transformation. Your expertise is needed in governance, policy formulation, regulatory institutions, and strategic planning to ensure that scientific knowledge drives sustainable development outcomes. On this note, I wish to acknowledge and appreciate the ACS Nigerian chapter for its continued engagement with government institutions, the support and collaboration extended by the OSGF in previous symposia have reinforced the vital interface between science, policy, and national development. And we remain committed to strengthening this partnership. In closing, I commend the organizers for their vision and dedication, and I wish all participants fruitful deliberation and a successful symposium. It is my hope that the outcome of this gathering will contribute meaningfully to Nigeria's sustainable development agenda and inspire innovative solutions with lasting impact.
The Honorable Commissioner that we are expecting entered the hall and our entourage. Let me recognize and show to the House the Honorable Commissioner for Health, Oyo State, Dr. Oluwaserimi Ajetumobi. You're welcome, ma'am. Important the office they are holding is. She's here with us, Dr. Adekunle Aremu, Director, Health Planning, Research and Statistics. You're welcome, ma'am. Oh, welcome, sir, Dr. Aremu. And also, Dr.
Waiting for it here. We want to listen to the keynote speech by Professor Franklin Ayigbehio from the University of Cambridge. And he will be talking to us on the development and application of novel radiopharmaceuticals for post-iron emission tomography. It is my singular honor to invite to this podium Professor Franklin Ayigbehio. Prof, sir, a round of applause for him.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here in Ibadan and the ACS Nigerian chapter. And it's been a long time since I've been in Nigeria in UK, for a very long time. And of course, kind of greetings to my distinguished guests who are here. And of course, I should thank many of the people here involved in this, the Professor Iman and the rest of the EXCO committee, the executive committee, for being part of the involved in developing this. And of course, Professor Olede, who was kind of invited me to this meeting, and of course, the organizing committee for organizing this great event. It truly is a real pleasure, and I'm really glad I came here to this Premier University of Ibadan. So I'm not quite clear if my talk fits in sustainable technology, but in a way it impacts healthcare. So I suppose sustainable health should be the underpinning thing about this. But also where I'll probably capture is maybe it might seem to be kind of expensive, kind of, UK technology, but the aim is, and I come on to it, is to try and bring this kind of technology and to impact healthcare in Nigeria. So I don't know how we're going to do my things. Do I just say forward or not? I don't know how it gets done. And just to know, Ganyet, I've got 20 minutes talk. I think I'm getting 15 minutes, so it might be longer than talk. Okay, can I first slide come up at least? Right. Slide. This really represents where I do my day job. Discovered, and it's really a complex of various organizations, but of course with the center of it of a hospital and a medical school based there, where the University Medical School is there, and that's where, even though I'm a chemist, I'm there as well as being affiliated with the Department of Chemistry. I'll say next slide. So this is actually my department. It's a Wolfson Brain Imaging Center. I think the bottom of it is missing, but it's a center which focuses on using biomedical imaging in terms of investigating various kind of pathologies in human diseases. And it's based on two forms of techniques: MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, which you all more widely known, but less known is a nuclear medicine technique called positive emission tomography. So maybe just next move on. Maybe switch to go next one. And there is in the center a PET MRI. So what we do have now in terms of scanners, a kind of combination of a PET scanner MRI merged to get different forms of information. And on the end is a combination of a PET scan. The coloration is the PET itself, and again I'll give you a bit more data on that, while the grayer bits, the structural bits, is the MRI. Okay, next slide. So I'll just kind of go through what PET is, because I'm sure most of you have not encountered it. Positive emission tomography, and in a way what it says is what it represents. So it's based on the essence of injections of chemicals with radioisotopes tagged onto it, but those radioisotopes decay in a unique way. The decay, I can show there, really good if I had some kind of pointer. Is that available? A pointer of some sort, a laser pointer? No, okay, all right, okay, right. So I can see there the radioisotope of carbon-11, and I said it's the isotope of carbon-12, so, and it decays by emitting a positron, which is a positive version of the electron, that travels a very short distance, meets the electron, and it kind of merges, and classic Einstein is E equals mc squared. It converts into energy, but it converts in the energy in a unique way. Two gamma rays that go at opposite directions to each other, and that makes it the power of that, because having those gamma rays going opposite directions to it, we can identify where that emission comes from. And in terms of imaging a patient, I can see there at A is injecting to the arm, distributing to the body, and that distribution is picked up by that ring of which is a scanner, and that can give you the identification and distribution of that radiopharmaceutical. But that radiopharmaceutical's distribution is determined by some kind of disorder, blood flow, receptors, or enzymes. And that you can use to get a quantitative determination of that biological biomarker. And of course, again, I can't see it down there, but you can see the coloration, the kind of scan you will get after the conversion of the gamma rays into pictorial form. Resolution, not as great as MRI, which can go down to very small millimeters, but this can go down to about 3 to 8 millimeters. But the real strength of this, of PET, is the ability to quantify the parameters. And it goes down to parameters of picomolar capability. And that really is a powerful way of assessing biological aspects in humans. Okay, next stop. Now this is where the chemistry comes in. And I think I say chemistry for life is the ACS thing. Well, in this case, this is chemistry directly applied into biomedicine. And the strength of this technology is the range of chemicals we can form, but chemicals tagged with radioisotopes, but also smart chemicals. In essence, they behave like drugs. They will go and mark some kind of pathology. It could be as simple as oxygen, which is labeled with a very short isotope of oxygen, and then you can check that and you can determine blood flow throughout the brain. You can even monitor oxygen use or utilization, or you can use CO. But more sophisticated are ones which you go through for looking at receptors, enzymes, and of course, toxin proteins that could be present. So we can build up a whole range of different kind of smart chemicals, for a better word. So, next slide. So, how do we do this? Well, I've got a lab that I call the Molecular Imaging Chemistry Lab, which is a dedicated lab which I'm director of, that focuses on developing this, and I'll go through. It has many components that matches it. So we do organic chemistry, so we synthesize compounds de novo. We have an analytical lab, so we have our own mass spec, mass spectroscopy for mass determination, NMR for analysis. And of course, the core of it, of course, is radiochemistry for actually tagging the chemicals with the isotopes of interest. But of course, we also kind of want to assess the properties of these drug-like compounds and see how they behave in terms of binding to tissue and the properties. So we have a radiopharmacology lab. And so it's a quite extensive lab dedicated for developing these compounds for the first time. And so if I go to the next slide. So what it is similar to probably drug development in what we do. And I just kind of a scheme of how we go through. So discovery chemistry, we want to find chemicals that have the right properties, that bind to a receptor, has got good affinity, good liability. If it goes to want to empty. And then, of course, to confirm, again, like a drug discovery, does this smart chemical behave in humans as we want it to do? Does it go to a tumor as we want it to do? Does it enter the brain as we want it to do? So we confirm those properties itself. And we can use that by doing animals and other such things do that. And of course, the ultimate aspect is using it for clinical imaging in terms of our research. Okay, next one. So, as I said, these isotopes have very short half-lives. So, I can say here, these are some of our our called organic isotopes, even though we do have inorganic ones, with a half-life of 20 minutes, and for the non-radioactivity people, a half-life is the amount of time it will halve in terms of amount. So in this case, carbon-11, once you produce it, the activity goes to half, and at 20 minutes, now half again, and by that, an hour, it's gone. Nitrogen-13, even shorter half-life. Oxygen, 2 minutes, very short half-life. And our favorite one, and I like fluorine, 2 hours, and that's plenty of time for doing lots of things you want to do. But of course, we are moving into metals, which are kind of longer half-life, and there's one called copper, which has got 12-hour half-life, and you can do plenty of things. So since the fact they are very short half-life, you can't just buy it and store it. We have to make it on the day, use it on the day. And so we have our own cyclotron, which is, to put it in context in the size, there's someone standing there, and in this case, it's actually open, so you can actually use it to to make our radioisotopes on the day. And that's based on that's in the center, there'll be we can generate proton beam, very fast proton beam, and you can probably see in those at the end there, we can have non-radioactive materials, and those proton beams will convert our starting materials into the isotope of choice, and then we carry on with our chemistry. Next slide, please. And I said carbon-11, 20 minutes. And next slide. So the nature of it, next slide. So the nature of it, a bit has come of it. Chemistry has to be rapid. When you've got this short half-life, you cannot spend the whole day or the next day doing it. So it's a really good example. So we might make carbon dioxide in our cyclotron, and then we'll do a quick conversion to methane, and then from methane to iodomethane. Next slide. And then what we do is the last stage reaction. That's what we want. Just one reaction to incorporate that isotope into the compound of interest. And in this case, methylation occurs very quickly. Okay, next slide. And then we can do more sophisticated chemistry that goes on to expand our toolbox for radiolabeling all kinds of chemicals. Okay, next slide. So, as I said, one of our favorite one is fluorine-18. And this reaction probably represents the most commonly used reaction in the PET world in UK, US, Europe. And this is for making a variant of glucose. And of course, glucose is used in humans for energy. But in essence, when it's a tumor, it uses more glucose, and therefore you can identify tumor. And we can operate it by generating 18F in the fluoride reactive form and make more. Attach that fluoride into it, and we've got fluorodeoxyglucose. And this compound represents probably 80%, 90% of all PET studies done worldwide, used really for clinical diagnosis in major hospitals and such. And I know the UK National Health Service, we use this a lot. Okay, next slide. Again, just showing that we can do more sophisticated radiochemistry. Apart from that, I'll go on to next time, a matter of time. Okay, so how do we do this? We can't really do this by standard methods of kind of, I think I mentioned by Schlenk tubes or doing finer things. We are doing radioactivity. So most things are done once the chemistry is optimized using something like this, in a computer-controlled, almost chemical engineering type system that will do the heating, the transferring, the purification, all by programming the computer. And this is something manufactured by GE Healthcare, who are major players in this game. And that, in the end, shows the box, and that is kind of a schematic showing the various vials and valves and how I can see the process occurring as it goes along. Okay, next slide. So in this case, often we are making it for human use. And of course, similar to you have the FDA, might say, since you're making something for human use, you have to follow FDA requirements similar to making a drug. And we are dealing with radioactivity. So we often have a clean room, hence that person's gowned up in a clean room environment. And those end bins are what we call, they're specialized fume cupboards, but they've got lead shielding for protect radioactivity. So that is the kind of things you will use it. You use it for research, but often you use that clean room for manufacturing the radio tracers for human injections. Okay, next one. So I won't go through it, but this is kind of the things we use this PET for, and use it from in terms of new generation research, neuroscience, oncology, cardiovascular, underpinned by radiochemistry, but of course PET physics, and we generate a huge amount of data from this. So lots of data analysis, and more so AI is being used for this. Okay, next one. And this is kind of things we might do in the sense of, here is dementia research. We'll bring in different kinds of radiopharmaceuticals to look at different components of a disease. In this case, dementia. So we'll look at toxic proteins using a one tracer called PIB. Toxic proteins characteristic of all dementias. Inflammation occurs in the brain, so we can assess the role of inflammation. And the other one, PK395. Another form of toxic proteins prevalent in the brain, and we can look at that. So we can actually delineate at different components of a disease, see how they interrelate, and of course see how they progress. And most importantly, you can identify drugs. And this has been a big game changer for drugs in Alzheimer's. For the first time, you can see the impact of, you can identify who has got Alzheimer's, but you can use that in terms of monitoring disease itself, the treatment itself. Okay, next slide. And of course, the main area PET is used for is oncology. I mentioned about FDG, and the other one, there we see how a tumor, which is more metabolic for using more glucose, will actually take up the actual glucose itself. And you see that kind of red spot characteristic and presence of a tumor and in taste of that. So you can use that to identify a tumor, and then can use that to see if you treat it, if you're doing a treatment response. And of course, a major area very much that's taken over PSMA in prostate cancer, and that's the area where we can actually try and detect prostate cancer early detection, chance of treatment. Okay, well, I'll go on, go through. Next slide. Okay, what I'll do, I just show you a good example of how, I don't know if I've got how much time I have. Do I have enough time to carry on? Where's my chair? Oh. Yeah? Okay, all right, good. Okay, so I'll show you a really good example if you go on to the next slide. Okay, right, and I'll show you an example where it's a clear clinical problem we had in terms of that, and in the sense the clinician came to us, finding a solution for a clinical problem. And it's in the area of hypertension, which is a major aspect which we all know, especially in terms of hypertension, high blood pressure, causes more like chance of heart disease, stroke, kidney disease, and a poor quality health. So really is something that impacts many people extensively. Next slide. Now the most commonest secondary cause, apart from general aspects of fasting, is called primary aldosteronism, PA for short, I'll keep it short. Next slide. And this, it's come off the, it's below. It's caused by actually enzymes created by the adrenal glands, and we can't see there, you can see at the bottom, but we have two adrenal glands here, and they generate higher levels of this aldosterone, and that will cause hypertension. Next slide. So it's caused by overproduction of this aldosterone from adrenal gland. Next slide. I can't see it. Okay, but I think the main point I say is this, that this disorder can be treated. Unlike other forms of hypertension, this can, because if you can address the adrenal gland and aldosterone, treatment occurs. And that's rare in hypertension. Other forms of hypertension, you've got to eat better, lower the things, have less butter, etc., etc. But this is a specific cause. So next slide. Next slide. And next slide. Okay, so my clinicians came to me and said, you have a difficult decision. Here is something that can be treated. And of course, the challenge they have, next slide, is this cause of this hypertension, why this adrenal gland causing too much aldosterone, it could be caused by you got two adrenal glands. It could be caused by one adrenal gland. So if they know it's one adrenal gland, well, what they can do, the surgeons can go in, take out the adrenal gland, because we can actually, apparently we can manage with one adrenal gland, problem solved. That dysfunctional adrenal gland is sorted and you're treated. But often, most of the time, next slide, you can have both adrenal glands are dysfunctional. So in that case, of course, they can't take off both adrenal glands, so the only thing you can do is treatment. So the clinical colleagues had this problem. How do you know which one, when you're having this problem, which one it is? Is it due to one or due to two? Next slide. And the present methods they have just couldn't give you that clear answer. They could go in by doing a kind of endoscopy and sampling the adrenal gland. It's invasive, patients hate it, doesn't work most of the time, that's not very good. So how could we do this in a better way? And if you go to the next slide, at the bottom, it will have said PET imaging could help solve it. So next slide. Next slide. And next slide. Okay, don't worry too much about this complex thing, but this just shows the first thing we had to think about. How can we try and answer this kind of almost like binary question, one adrenal gland or two adrenal gland? And you look at the biochemical of the related to the adrenal gland. And what we addressed first quickly was that two enzymes, and if just mind, I'll go and point it out because I can't go crazy. So those ones, B1, B2, we quickly identified this. When those enzymes are high, they cause a high expression of aldosterone. So here's two, for better word, the core cause of these aspects of problems, and the B1 especially. So next slide. So if we could get the PET tracer that just binds to these enzymes, then we've got a very sensitive marker of this disorder, because if there's high B2, you'll get this PET tracer showing it. If it's low, it's not. So if one adrenal gland has high, we can tell one from the other. Next slide. So I won't go into medical chemistry, but as I said, discovery chemistry, we synthesized a lot of compounds, and we came to a sense that one compound did have a very high uptake in the adrenal gland. Next slide. And we came to this compound, which I'll call ceto, chloroetomidate. And this, next slide, we found had very good high affinity for the enzymes I just mentioned, the B2 and B1. And it's off the scale, but affinity of 0.68 nanomolar, which is very high. If you had a drug, that's kind of figures you'll want. So it had high affinity, but just importantly, it had good selectivity. And that was important for us. So next slide. So we radio-label it. We put a PET isotope into it, and we can do it by straightforward organic chemistry for those organic chemistry here. So SN2 reaction, one step SN2, a tosylate replacing by fluoride, and we can get it in really good yields enough to do that. So we went through lots of things, and of course, in the UK, it's quite a process for doing first-in-man studies. We had to get toxicology, we had to do lots of paperwork, clinical trials, etc. But we finally did it and went into humans. So next slide. So this is what we can do, and they obtained, and if and the one on the left is a CT, which is giving you the structure. It's a picture slice right across the stomach. And what you can see there is a mixture on the right, the seat, the structure, and a PET. And a PET is the coloration of showing the distribution of this PET tracer into the adrenal glands. Next slide. So you can just see it. You can see that visual of the veins, and that's the tracer going into adrenal gland. And in this case, even though my clinician tells me, this one shows that there's only one adrenal gland that is dysfunctional. So went in there, took it out, patient cured. Next slide. And in this case, my clinicians have shown me, this one is a bilateral. Both adrenal glands are dysfunctional. So in this case, they should show high accumulation of this radiopharmaceutical. So next slide, press the button, and it shows picture. And you can see, again, the structure is gray, and the coloration is that radio tracer going into the adrenal gland and lighting up both of them. And you can see that both have higher take, therefore they've got higher take of this B2 enzyme, and both are producing the aldosterone. So there we are. So in a way, a very powerful method to answer this quite binary question: one adrenal gland functional or two adrenal glands functional? Next slide. So what we have developed here is a method that can really address what has been a major problem in the UK. At least 700,000 people in the UK have this problem, and of course have this issue, which cause of hypertension, and we can use without being non-invasive, so it doesn't have to go it, and patients like it, and it's now been used in our clinic, and been funded, and it's been getting reimbursed, and use this technique for people with hypertension caused by PA, pulmonary arterial. So it really has gone from chemistry method, first in human studies, clinical trial, and it's now been used by hospitals. And the plan is to roll it out in the UK National Health Service to be standard clinical diagnostic technique. Next slide. So it was great in terms of we can do this in PET scanners in the UK and the US and Europe, but the reality is, as we know, PET is a technology. So this where Ganyet, Olede and I have kind of got a grant, because what we want to see, can we, in a sense, make this kind of technology much cheaper? So we got a funding for the Cambridge African Fund, Alvarado, in terms of a project to try and simplify this technology and make it more accessible. Next slide. And I said, yes, there's a lot of people in Nigeria, 2.4 million people have this form of hypertension. Hypertension is larger than this, but 2.4 have this form of PA, so that can be treated. But of course, we can't all use PET scans. So what we want to do, next slide, is develop a radiopharmaceutical equivalent of C2 that's not based on PET, but based on SPECT. And SPECT is very much the simpler and more accessible version of a nuclear medicine technique, and it still represents 78% of the technology used worldwide in terms of that. Used very much using technetium, iodium, and it can be more accessible in terms of that. So what we would like to do is develop a version of C2 that could be used for SPECT, and in a sense make it simpler, cheaper, and more widely available. And that is something, I think, Ganyet and I's vision of what we want to do over the next few years. Okay, I think that I've got time. I'll stop. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, so I just acknowledge all my people involved, and I've always got to say lots of the funders, the UK Medical Research Council, all the various charities that have been funded, that's helped me fund and do all this work over the last few years. And next slide. And of course, thank you all for your attendance, and it's a pleasure to be here. Hope I will
We really appreciate you, and we want this to be something that you can take back and keep on your table and say yes in recognition of this and honor, and you're coming here to present, to share your knowledge with us. So this is an award of excellence presented to you for your impactful contribution to the development and advancement of science, technology, engineering, and medicine education and research in Nigeria during our annual symposium. So thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Okay, I get a picture of this.
Sure.
I'll get a picture.
Sure you will,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you for that inspiring lecture.
Thank you. Thank you.
So want to leverage on that award and continue with the other awards. In no order, we'll be calling names, and anyone who is not here or who is represented by someone, please just let us know. The first awardee on the list is Professor Kayode Adebowale. Professor Kayode Adebowale. I think it's the VC. Is your VC? I think it's your VC. Please, may I call on Professor Fashino to please present the award to him. He will be represented by the head of Department of Chemistry. Please, ma, help us with the presentation. A round of applause as she comes out. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the citation of each of the awardee is being screened. We are not reading citation because of time. We need to catch up with the time. So, and also we have it, all the awardees, we have their citation in the book of abstracts. Thank you so much.
Mike.
So this award is being presented to the Vice Chancellor, University of Ibadan, Professor Kayode Adebowale, MNI FAS, in recognition of his contributions to the advancement of science, and particularly in collaborating with the ACS for this 11th symposium. Thank you very much, sir.
Congratulations, sir. Thank you, sir.
Presented by
Dr. Bale.
No, we are taking
She.
Who is number 3?
Number 2 is
number 2 is Dr. Adewumi.
This is the one. Okay. Then to be presented by Nico, interpreted one.
The next awardee is Dr. Adewumi Ajetumobi, ably represented by...
No, she's here. Oh, she's here in person.
Oh, sorry. is what is written here. Okay. So sorry. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you for your presence. To be presented by our own daddy, Professor Joshua Obaleye. Thank you so much. He's the one to be making the presentation to Dr. Adewumi.
We are presenting this to our dear mother, Dr. Sherimi Adewumi Ajetumobi, for impactful contributions to the development and advancement of science, technology, engineering, and medicine, STEM, education and research in Nigeria. During our 11th annual Symposium of ACS Nigeria, the theme, Imagine Technologies in Chemistry for Sustainable Development. Ma, on behalf of ACS Nigeria chapter and ACS International, we are presenting this to you, Ma, for great things you are doing in our midst, for contributing successfully to chemical sciences, and we pray that as you are doing this to us, God Almighty will continue to elevate you. You will move higher and higher, and whatever you ask your God to do for you, He will do it for you. Thank you, Ma, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Ma. A round of applause for her. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I bring to our notice that all the awardees are recognized for their years of impactful contributions to the advancement of science, technology, engineering, and medicine, STEM, and education in Nigeria and beyond. The next awardee is Chief Dotu Sanusi. May I have you here on the podium? Chief Dotu Sanusi, represented by the next awardee on the list is Engineer Bolarewa James Olowe. Thank you so much. Please, a round of applause for him as she walks majestically to the podium.
Represented by Professor Ajagbe.
Oh, okay. He is represented by Professor Ajagbe. He is not presently, is not with us. And I think a prof would do the just to take the plaque to him. I want to humbly invite my ever-smiling chair, a gentle professor. That is what I call him. I call her Professor Edu Inam, to please help us present the plaque to him.
So, sir, on behalf of ACS Nigeria International Chapter, we present this Award of Excellence to Engineer James Olowe for impactful contributions to the advancement of green and sustainable chemistry in Nigeria and beyond during the 11th Annual Symposium of ACS Nigeria. Please convey our gratitude to Chief. Thank you.
We can do better. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma. The next on the list is Chief Said Oladele. Can we have Mr. Salid? Can we have Chief Said Oladele come up for his award? Not in the house? Okay. So we move on to Professor Oyewusi George. Professor Oyewusi. Oh, sorry. Gurege, yeah, sorry. I have to. Prof, I'm so sorry, you're a special person. Thank you so much, sir. The presenter is Professor Ganiyat Oloide.
Okay. On behalf of the American Chemical Society, Nigeria International Chemical Sciences Chapter, and the American Chemical Society USA, I present to you this award of excellence. Professor Guru J is a renowned, it's just unfortunate that we cannot read all the citations. He's a renowned psychiatrist. He's a worldwide person with a lot of awards. So in fact, two paragraphs of citation cannot tell us all his achievements. So sir, just take this as a kind token, a recognition of your numerous contributions to science, medicine, and technology as a whole. Thank you, sir.
Please, we want to invite all the awardees to the podium for a photograph. All the awardees with the award, can you come out for a group photograph? Thank you so much. The executive can also join them. Our keynote speaker, a round of applause for them. Thank you so much. So we want to take the goodwill messages from invited and special guests. The first on the list is from the Honorable Commissioner for Health, Oyo State. Please, can we have his goodwill message? Thank you.
The chairman of the 11th Annual Symposium of American Chemical Society, Professor Sunday Okeni, the chair of the ACS Nigeria, Professor Edu Inam, and the chair of this 11th Annual Symposium Local Organizing Committee, Professor Ganiya Toleide, all the ACS Nigeria executive members, the members of the LOC, all our professors here present this morning, our distinguished participants, gentlemen of the press, my team from the Oyo State Ministry of Health, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. It is with great pleasure and a deep sense of honor that I stand before this distinguished gathering of scientists, researchers, innovators, industry experts, academics, and stakeholders at this important national symposium of the American Chemical Society, Nigeria chapter. Let me begin by warmly congratulating the leadership and members of this ACS Nigeria for sustaining this credible platform that continues to inspire knowledge sharing, innovation, and solutions-driven dialogue in our nation. Today's symposium is not just a meeting of minds, it is a meeting of purpose, a gathering of men and women who understand the science, who understand that science is not merely an academic pursuit, but a powerful tool for national development and human survival. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, scientific progress continues to transform the way we live. It shapes our health outcomes, improves longevity, and enhances the overall quality of life. Science remains the foundation upon which we build a healthier and more sustainable future, from life-saving medical breakthroughs to technological innovations that address environmental and social challenges. The events of COVID-19 pandemic and the unprecedented realities of 2020 brought science closer to the everyday lives of people. It reminded the world that science is not optional, it is essential. And it also reaffirmed that our collective survival depends on our willingness to trust evidence, support research, and translate knowledge into policies and action. Chemistry in particular sits at the very heart of scientific progress. It is the science of life itself. Chemicals and chemical reactions drive essential biological processes in humans, animals, and plants, and they sustain the ecosystem upon which we all depend. Chemistry influences the air we breathe, the food we eat, the soil that nourishes our crops. It powers progress in health, agriculture, food production, pharmaceuticals, and industrial development. However, as we celebrate the immense benefits of chemistry, we must also acknowledge the silent dangers that come with unsafe chemical exposure. Chemical pollution has become one of the most pressing public health concerns of our time. Human beings are exposed to harmful chemicals daily through inhalation, injection, and absorption, through polluted air, contaminated food and water, and through direct contact with household products, pesticides, cosmetics, and industrial materials. The growing threat of plastic pollution has also become a major global concern. Recent studies have shown that micro and nanoplastics have found their way into seafood, salt, meat, milk, fruits, vegetables, drinking water, and even beverages. This means that exposure is no longer a distant possibility. It is already a reality, and the implications for food security and public health are enormous. Distinguished participants, the burden of air pollution is also devastating. Many airborne chemicals have both acute and long-term effects on human health. Pollutants such as carbon monoxide, lead, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, ground-level ozone, and particulate matter continue to threaten communities across the world. The World Health Organization has attributed about 4.2 million annual deaths to ambient air pollution. Beyond mortality, the economic losses are staggering, including billions of dollars in health costs and productivity losses. These realities remind us that chemistry is not just about innovation, it is about responsibility. And this is why the theme for this year's symposium, Emerging Technologies in Chemistry for Sustainable Development, is timely and deeply relevant. It speaks to the urgency of our time. It calls on us to explore modern solutions while ensuring that development does not come at the cost of human health or environmental safety. As scientists, we understand that chemistry is dynamic and constantly evolving. This evolution challenges us to stay innovative, to stay curious, and most importantly, to stay committed to using our knowledge to serve humanity. The work you do in laboratories and research centers may seem distant from the streets of our communities, but it ultimately determines the safety of our food, the purity of our water, the quality of our air, and the well-being of our people. This is why the mission of the ACS to advance the broader chemistry enterprise and its practitioners for the benefits of Earth and its people resonates soundly with us in the health sector. The American Chemical Society of Nigeria, therefore, has a critical role to play in shaping the evidence-based public policy. Your voice must remain strong in areas such as sustainability, environmental safety, science education, workforce development, and innovation that through research and technology. You must also be at the forefront of advocating safer chemicals, stronger risk assessment, and greater transparency. Because truly science and secrets do not sit comfortably together. Public trust is built when people are informed, when they are protected and carried along. Just about a week ago, we confiscated 12 baskets of mangoes laden with chemicals that were supposed to be given or to be sold to unsuspected people within our community. These are the dangers that people are exposed to on a daily basis if we are not careful and we are not transparent. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to state that the government of Oyo State is ready, more than ever, to collaborate, to support innovation, and to drive policy reforms that protect lives. For decades, the Oyo State Ministry of Health has maintained strong partnerships with tertiary institutions, especially across the Southwest, through capacity development, research collaboration, and workforce training. We remain committed to supporting science students through industrial training and CWES placement because we understand that today's students are tomorrow's innovators and problem solvers. Furthermore, the Ministry of Health serves as the Secretariat of the Oyo State Food Safety Management Committee. This is a multi-sectorial platform designed to strengthen coordination among agencies responsible for food safety and quality control. This platform aligns with global best practices and standards, and we look forward to the strengthened collaboration with professional bodies such as ACS chapter to advance food safety and chemical safety in Oyo State. The Oyo State Ministry of Health will continue to strengthen its commitment to public health protection, environmental health, food safety, and chemical safety. We are willing to deepen engagement with ACS Nigeria chapter, and we look forward to partnerships that will support the effective implementation of these national policies and resolutions for the benefit of our people. Distinguished participants, the future we desire is one where science is not locked away in textbooks, but translated into real solutions, cleaner environments, safer products, healthier families, and stronger communities. And on this note, I commend the ACS Nigeria chapter for this important symposium, and I encourage all participants to use this opportunity not only to exchange knowledge, but to build alliances, strengthen advocacy, and drive innovations that will secure a healthier and more sustainable Nigeria. Thank you for your attention. God bless the ACS, God bless Oyo State, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Let us clap better. Thank you very much, Ma. She has let us know that there's nothing in this world that is not chemistry. Thank you, Ma. The next person that is going to give the goodwill message is the head of department, chemistry, Professor Shonibare. A round of applause, please. Let us clap for. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Department of Chemistry, University of Ibadan, let me welcome all of us to this symposium. But before I start that, just permit me to lean on already established protocol. But I still want to recognize one of our living ancestors in the area of science. Of course, when you mention the name Professor Oye Gureje, I know that you know whom I'm talking about. It's one of our living ancestors in science. You're highly welcome, sir. I also want to appreciate our keynote speaker for today. I really gained a lot from that beauty presentation that you gave to us. And of course, we have one of our leading scientists, also chemists, also present here in person of Professor Obaleye. And of course, my colleagues from University of Uyo, the HOD of Chemistry from University of Uyo, Professor Edu, I hope I'm correct. Having said that, it's my pleasure to welcome all of us to this symposium, and especially to welcome you on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, Professor K. Adebowale, to University of Ibadan. Also to welcome you to the Faculty of Science, University of Ibadan, and also the Department of Chemistry, University of Ibadan. Of course, as you all know, the Chemistry Department, University of Ibadan, is the flagship of chemistry education in Nigeria. All of us, we are from UI Chemistry. If you are not a graduate of Chemistry Department, University of Ibadan, of course, you must have been taught by somebody that graduated from Chemistry Department, University of Ibadan. I want to thank the ESCO of American Chemical Society for bringing this symposium to our university. And of course, in the same vein, I thank the sponsor, the American Chemical Society. Of course, I know that this symposium, we are expected to form new friends. And we're also believing that during this symposium, we are going to have exchange of scientific ideas that will go a long way in the development of science and technology in our country. I want to thank also the LOC, our able Professor Kehinde Oloyede. She is very agile, very dutiful, and of course, I know that it's not easy to organize this kind of a symposium. She and all the other members of the team must have put a lot into the organization of this symposium. And I want to thank you very much. Now, I want to also encourage us, because I know that in this symposium, we are going to have lectures, we are going to have keynotes, addresses, and the rest. But let's also take time to visit some historical sites within Ibadan. And also within Ibadan, even within the University of Ibadan, there are interesting places that you can also pay a visit to. It will interest you to know that within the university, we have a botanical garden. And of course, we also have the zoological garden within the University of Ibadan. It is one of the oldest, it's even the oldest zoological garden that we have in the country. So that the interesting places they can also visit as you are here to attend this symposium. On behalf of the Department of Chemistry, I want to wish every participant a useful deliberation, and I pray that at the end, when we shall all be going back to our different destinations, the Lord will take us back home safely. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Prof. On a lighter mood, I want to ask Prof, HOD, sir, you've told us a lot of places to visit, but I want to make one special request. Can we have a class for Latin language? Because I understand the motto of University of Ibadan is a recte sapere fon, and that's a Latin word. And that's actually the only university in the whole of Nigeria that has its motto as in Latin language. So may I request that you give us a class or a lecture or a tutorial on Latin language. Thank you so much, sir.
Good word. Thank you very much, my HOD. So on behalf of Chemical Society of Nigeria, with the President, Professor Sato, and the person that will be giving goodwill message is the Deputy Vice President of Chemical Society, Southwest Zone, Dr. Esther Faboro.
Kindly permit me to stand on the already established protocol. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, National Council, National Executive Committee, Committee of Fellows and entire membership of Chemical Society of Nigeria, CSN, I congratulate the American Chemical Society, Nigeria International Chapter on its 11th annual symposium. It is pertinent. The theme for this episode of the symposium series, Emerging Technologies in Chemistry for Sustainable Development, captures the current global call for action to achieve sustainable economic and social development across countries developing, in transition, or even developed. It is pertinent to note that this call for action, as captured by the Global Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, requires leveraging chemistry and allied technologies if they are to be realized. The sub-themes of the symposium adequately captures the whole range of existing and emerging technologies and the focal areas in chemistry pivotal to the SDGs. It is heartwarming that ACS, like CSN, has been in the vanguard to advance this quest. It is at a forum like this symposium, that intercourse, discourse, and disclosures of advances in our science are made, and from which new directions are mapped. We in CSN have always viewed ACS Nigeria as partners in progress and wish to keep our doors open for collaboration so that together we can make the difference our country, Nigeria, and indeed the world needs true sound science and chemical technologies that engendered economic prosperity without collateral damage to the environment, ecosystem, and human health. I, on behalf of CSN leadership and members, wish you a rewarding symposium. Once again, congratulations. Long live CSN, long live ACS Nigeria International Chapter, long live Federal Republic of Nigeria. Professor Rufus Shato, 16th President, Chemical Society of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. We can appreciate her more better, please. The next person that will give goodwill message is the Director, Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, University of Ibadan, Professor Sherifat Abuaba. Let us appreciate her.
Two minutes. Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Permit me to maintain the already established protocols. It is my pleasure to bring you warm greetings from the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, University of Ibadan. Greetings to all participants at this international conference on emerging technologies in chemistry for sustainable development. This theme is actually timely as it reflects our collective commitment to harnessing scientific innovation for environmental protection, industry efficiency, and socio-economic progress. Chemistry remains a cornerstone of sustainable solutions in energy, healthcare, agriculture, and manufacturing. And this conference will obviously provide a vital platform for advancing these goals. As Director of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, I strongly believe that research excellence must be complemented by commercialization, enterprise creation, and policy management. And it is through this synergy that scientific discoveries are transformed into impactful technologies and viable products. I employ colleagues and students to venture into impactful and sustainable projects that will be of great benefit to our country. I want to appreciate ACS, particularly the organizers of this important symposium, the LOC chairman, my sister, Professor Ganiyat Oloyede. You have done well. We commend you for your vision and dedication. And I also encourage participants to use this opportunity to collaborate, innovate, and inspire the next generation of sustainable solutions. I wish you a successful, productive, and memorable symposium. Thank you very much.
So grateful for managing the timer. The next person I'm going to call now is also the director, Basel Convention Coordinating Center for Training and Technology Transfer for Africa Region, Professor Gilbert Adie. Let us appreciate him. Thank you very much. Let's clap.
2 minutes. I am reminded. Permit me to stand on existing protocol because I have only 2 minutes. Your Excellencies, our living ancestors, my HOD, I must recognize you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to be here and very excited to be here on behalf of the Basel Convention Coordinating Center for the African region in Nigeria to provide some highlights about the center. Let me appreciate the ACS Nigerian chapter for inviting us to give this goodwill message. I take this opportunity to provide some of the things the center do. The core mandate of the center is to protect human health and the environment from adverse effects of hazardous waste and their disposal. And of course, you know, where there is chemistry, there will be chemicals, and there will also be waste. And this sits very well with the theme of this symposium, which is emerging technologies in chemistry for sustainable development. Our center the Basel Convention actually was adopted to control the movement of hazardous waste across countries. And it was adopted on the 22nd of March, 1989. It came into force on the 5th of May, 1992. Currently, we have 191 countries that have signed this convention, including Nigeria. We have 14 of these centers across the globe. Within the African region, we have 4 of the centers. Our own center is a coordinating center. We have a center in South Africa for the English-speaking countries. We have a center in Egypt for the Arab-speaking countries. And we have a center in Senegal for the French-speaking countries. We, here in Nigeria, coordinate these centers. Our center is a UN center under the Federal Ministry of Environment. So we are a linkage center of the Federal Ministry of Environment. Our core mandate to support the parties here, I mean the countries who have signed this convention, involve training and capacity building, technology transfer, information dissemination, awareness creation. We do some projects also. We do consulting and some research. We are also affiliated with other conventions, like the Stockholm Convention, the Rotterdam Convention, the Minamata Convention, which just came up recently. And in fact, 3 of these conventions have already come together: the Basel Convention, the Stockholm Convention, and the Rotterdam Convention. They've come together to form one secretariat called the BROS Secretariat. B for Basel, R for Rotterdam, and S for Stockholm. The headquarters is in Geneva. Here in our center here, we have undertaken a lot of projects. We've done a lot on plastics waste, e-waste, used lead-acid batteries, persistent organic pollutants, chemicals management, general environmental monitoring and assessment. We will be very happy and delighted to collaborate with all of you on all these issues to continue to sustain the environment and our health. So on this note, I would like to wish all the participants a fruitful symposium and fruitful interaction for a better world. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, before going to the next program, let's do a little exercise here. We'll be sitting for long. Can we please stand up? We'll be sitting for long. Let's stand up and clap for ourselves. That's sort of clap for yourself where you stand. Yeah, just to thank you very much. Here, so you can sit down now. You know, we'll be sitting for long. This exercise. So let me call on the chairman of this occasion to come and give his address, Professor S.O. Okeni, the Vice Chancellor at Ibadan University, Oyo.
Good morning and good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Kindly permit me to stand and equally sit on the already established protocol for this activity. However, I will want to recognize the chair, in fact, the pioneer chair, Professor Obale, and the current chair, Professor Edwinam, who we've been working together for a long time, even at the Chemical Society of Nigeria. They held different positions at that place. And the more the merrier. We appreciate what you've done by bringing in the ACS, Nigerian Chemical Sciences chapter, to encourage chemistry growth and development in Nigeria. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, captains of industries here present, esteemed colleagues who are here, young scientists, I've seen them out there, and future leaders of chemistry, ladies and gentlemen. It is both an honor and a privilege to attend this event and to stand before you, all you distinguished personalities that are here this morning, as chairman of this occasion, at the 11th Annual Symposium of the American Chemical Society Nigeria International Chemical Sciences Chapter. I accepted this role with deep humility and profound respect for the intellectual tradition, scientific excellence, and global credibility that the American Chemical Society represents. I therefore commend the ACS Nigeria International Chemical Sciences Chapter for sustaining a symposium that has now become a beacon of scientific discourse, professional integrity, and scholarly relevance within Nigeria and beyond. We are gathered here in Ibadan, Nigeria's historic city of learning within the University of Ibadan, the premier university in Nigeria, an institution whose legacy is inseparable from the evolution of higher education, research, and intellectual leadership in Africa. This setting is therefore not an accident, but it is symbolic. It reminds us that ideas shapes nations and that science shapes the world. Science shapes the world and the future. The theme of this symposium, which we all know, is Emerging Technologies in Chemistry for Sustainable Development. This theme speaks directly to the defining question of our time. How do we deploy knowledge, responsibility to secure the future of humanity and the planet? Chemistry, as we all know, sits at the center of this question. It is the science that connects matter to meaning, matters to innovation, and matters to industry, and discovery to development. From clean energy and advanced materials to pharmaceuticals, environment, remediation, artificial intelligence, driven chemical systems, medicine, neuroscience, and green industrial processes. Chemistry is no longer confined to laboratories. Chemistry is now embedded in policy, in economics, in public health, and global security. Sustainable development is not a slogan. It is an obligation. It is what demands that is placed on scientific advancement. It is what makes us to be ethical, inclusive, environmentally responsible, and socially impactful. Emerging technologies, therefore, in chemistry gives an unprecedented tools, but they also impose a higher responsibility. The measure of our success will not be the sophistication of our instruments, but the depth of our impact on society. From Nigeria and Africa, this conversation is especially urgent. We must transit decisively from being consumers of scientific outcomes to becoming producers of solutions, drivers of innovations, and owners of intellectual capital. Our universities must evolve from centers of instruction to hubs of innovation and problem solving. Our research must move beyond publication to translation, commercialization, and policy relevance. This 11th Symposium of the American Chemical Society Nigerian International Chemical Sciences Chapter, therefore, offers more than presentations. It offers possibility. It offers opportunity to forge partnerships between academia and industry, between senior scholars and young scientists, and between local expertise and global networks. These collaborations are not optional. They are essential if chemistry is to fulfill its promise as a catalyst for sustainable development. To our students and early career chemists, you are not merely attending this conference, this symposium. You are not just an attendee at this symposium. You are the future custodian of this symposium. The discoveries that you will make, the questions that you will ask, and the ethics you will uphold will define the trajectory of chemical sciences in the decades ahead. I therefore urge you to pursue excellence without compromise. Pursue curiosity without fear. Pursue innovation with conscience. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I make bold to say that I commend the American Chemical Society, Nigerian International Chemical Sciences Chapter, for its visionary leadership, its commitment to capacity building, and its unwavering dedication to professional standards. Your work continues to elevate the practice and perception of chemistry within our national and global scientific communities. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as this symposium unfolds, let our discussions be rigorous, let our debates be constructive, and let our collaborations be purposeful. Let this gathering reaffirm our shared belief that science, when guided by wisdom and integrity, remains humanity's most powerful instrument for progress. It is my earnest hope that the outcomes of this symposium will extend far beyond this hall, into laboratories, into industries, into classrooms, policies, and communities where chemistry will continue to serve as a force for sustainable infrastructural transformation and development. I thank you very much for this opportunity and for the honor given to me. I think I left the office of the Chemical Society of Nigeria's presidency some 6 years ago. And I want to appreciate that ACS invited me in 2021 to Lagos, and you are inviting me again. I appreciate this collaboration, this synergy. Please let us keep it up. I wish all chemists, all present here today, a wonderful and fruitful deliberation at this seminar. God bless you all. Thank you.
Let's do it better. Thank you very much, sir. The cultural group should get ready. But before calling on them, the symposium must be declared open. And the person that will do that is the representative of the Minister of the Honorable Minister, Dr. Kingsley Ude, SAN, and is ably represented here by Dr. Stella Iguilo, Director, Department of Chemical Technology. She's here to declare the symposium open on behalf of the Minister. Let us appreciate her. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Distinguished guests, so many people have been standing on existing protocol. I think I should better align myself to the existing protocol. Thank you very much. But before going forward, please permit me to recognize one of my mentors here present in the person of Professor Okeni, the former national president of the American Chemical Society, and especially the innovative researchers here present, and the distinguished students, the young chemists, the future of the Nigerian scientists. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Minister would have loved to be here present, but because of the exigency of duty, he has to attend to other assignments of national concern and said I should represent him. The next voice you will hear is the Honorable Minister's voice as I read his address. Thank you. Address by the Honorable Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Dr. Kingsley Tochukwu Ude San, a special guest of honor at the opening ceremony of the 11th American Chemical Society Nigerian Chapter Annual Symposium, holding today, Monday, 9th February 2026, at the International Conference Center, University of Nigeria. University of Ibadan, UI. But you know, it's only University of Nigeria and others. So if you don't have to, if you are not a plus or minus, you must have passed through University of Nigeria, or you are being taught by somebody passing through University of Nigeria. So thank you for understanding with me. It is a profound honor to stand before this assembly of brilliant minds, the catalysts of transformation and the architects of our scientific future. Chemistry, rightly termed the central science, resides at the critical intersection of biology, physics, and engineering. It provides the essential toolkit to solve our most pressing national challenges and contribute meaningfully to global sustainable development. I bring you warm greetings from the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria under the visionary leadership of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, JCFR. I commend the American Chemical Society, ACS Nigerian Chapter, for sustaining this vital platform for knowledge exchange, mentorship, and collaboration. This symposium is especially crucial at a time when science-driven solutions are paramount for Nigeria and the world. I also extend my appreciation to the University of Ibadan under the leadership of Professor Kayode O. Adebowale, for hosting this significant event. This year's theme, Emerging Technologies in Chemistry for Sustainable Development, aligns precisely with our national priorities. From advanced materials and clean energy to cleaner manufacturing and smarter analytical tools. Chemistry is the cornerstone of a sustainable and industrialized future. The Federal Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology is committed to transition Nigeria from a resource-based to a knowledge-driven economy. This transition is important without the foundational power of this transition is impossible without the foundational power of the chemical sciences. However, we must confront a stark reality before us. Despite our abundant natural resources, Nigerians' performance in chemical technology and value addition processing remains suboptimal. optimal. Available data, when properly verified from the sources such as the National Bureau of Statistics, paints a concerning future. The contribution of chemical technology and advanced manufacturing to our GDP and export earning remains disproportionately low compared to our great potentials. We continue to import pharmaceuticals, agrochemicals, and industrial materials at an unsustainable cost, while exporting raw, unprocessed commodities. This is just an economic gap. It is a national imperative for change. To bridge this gap, our strategy must be bold, focused, and built on 3 critical pillars. 1, local content and value addition. We must move decisively from exporting raw materials to domestic high-value chemical processing goods. This means leveraging our petroleum, gas, mineral, and agricultural resources to produce finished and intermediate chemicals locally, creating jobs, retaining wealth, and building industrial resilience. 2, strategic investment in research and development. The current level of investment in research and development within the chemical science is inadequate. My ministry is committed to working with the National Assembly, the private sector, and international partners to significantly increase funding-driven, application-oriented research. We will prioritize grants, infrastructure, and policies that protect intellectual property and translate laboratory breakthroughs into scalable solutions. 3, green chemistry and sustainable practices. As we industrialize, we must embed sustainability at our core. I challenge the American Chemical Society, Nigerian chapter, to lead the advocacy and research in circular chemistry, designing processes that minimize waste, maximize efficiency, and protect our environment for future generations. Furthermore, we must revitalize science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM education, and mentorship. The future of Nigerian chemical innovation depends on the students and researchers in our laboratory today. We are committed to fostering an ecosystem that nurtures curiosity, provides modern equipment, and connects young talents with industry mentors. The Federal Ministry of Innovation, Science, and Technology is your partner. We are here to create the enabling environment, but we also need your expertise. Therefore, I have a direct charge for the American Chemical Society, Nigeria chapter. Become a formal technical advisory hub for the government and industry. Let your consortium of experts guide policy, set standards, and validate technologies. We need your help to verify and leverage economic data to drive targeted investments. Your research must leave the pages of journals and enter our factories, farmers, and pharmacists. In conclusion, I congratulate the organizers, especially the local organizing committee, for their excellent work. I urge every participant here to think beyond the bench. Think of the entrepreneurs needing local raw materials, the healthcare system needing affordable, domestically produced medicines, and the nation seeking energy independence and environmental security. As I often say, innovation is not just what is new. It is about what is useful and transformative for our society. Let this symposium be a crucible for the ideas that will catalyze Nigeria's chemical technology revolution. It is therefore my singular honor and privilege to formally declare the 11th Annual Symposium of the American Chemical Society ACS Nigerian chapter officially open. May your deliberations be fruitful, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. Can we remain standing while we give a round of applause? Hello, ma. The program has just been declared open. Thank you so much, ma. Please, you may sit. Thank you. May I request the presence of Professor Dinam for the presentation of gift and the plaque. The microphone, media. It's during the
So thank you so much. I'm the representative of the Honorable Minister. And please, this is just our token to the Minister in appreciation for some of his innovations, especially the one you have just read out to us, the one that the Minister is going to be engaging to increase grants to scientists in the chemical field. I didn't see you clap for that. Yeah, so we are really, really grateful for that, and this is just a token of appreciation. Please, thank you so much. And this is also for a gift again. So thank you so much.
Please, may I request the presence of the chairman, Professor Kenny, to join in the photograph. Thank you, ma'am. And the ACS ESCOs. Professor Adelagu. Where is she? She's coming. Please, the photographer, can you hold on? We want the presence of the treasurer. She is our CBN before she will refuse to give us money. So let's hold on for her. Thank you so much. And because of the power I have to hold the microphone, please, the photographer, may you also include the MCs. Thank you so much. This is the only time I have this power, so I have to use it. Thank you. Professor Bale, please, can you hold on? We want to present a gift to our keynote speaker. Professor Franklin, please.
I was expecting one of the chairs to do this presentation, whether Professor Edu or Professor, yes, sister, LOC chair. So, sir, when we met yesterday, was it yesterday or day before yesterday? Day before, okay. I was saying, we are number one to come here. I was so excited. I said, somebody from UK. Just be number one to come to Nigeria. Somebody who has left Nigeria for almost 20 years ago. And now, many things that happened here. And you can see adjust to our environment here. I was so impressed. It's because of this impression we have concerning you, sir. And most of the things you said that time when we met, that's why the executive felt that you can't just go without getting something in your hand. That's why we are giving you this little token, sir. It's not much. But just look at the reason why behind our giving. So we are giving this to you to remember our chapter, to see what you can do for the chapter, to see how you can make sure that you sell our name to your country there, and also to always think of coming to this country every year, not 20 years ago. So we are giving this on behalf of ACS and on behalf of ACS Nigeria. We say thank you, sir. And God Almighty will continue to bless you and increase your strength from grace to grace. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And I want you to say one or two things. You can't just receive something from me without saying something. Thank you, sir.
I have to say thank you very much, and for everyone. Just really feel so welcome from the Excel committee, the LOS, Ganyet. It's been a pleasure. And of course, my first time for Ibadan. I'm originally from Bini, which I've been to, never to Bini, Ibadan before, and of course to see this premier university, and of course now to be member of the ACS, Nigerian International, and of course as a member of the UK's fellow roadside chemistry, is now to be kind of feel engaged with this very much. It's been a real pleasure, and thank you everyone. I really felt welcome, and I'll say I'll be back to Nigeria more often.
That's all I want to hear. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you. All works without play the same makes Jack a dull boy. I want us to relax while we go on this ride. I want to invite the cultural group to please come and entertain us. Thank you so much. May we enjoy them. Thank you.
ọmọ Ìbàdàn yọ wọ́n ṣe bóṣù ló yọ 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 àṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ yọ oṣù àbàrà bíntín
ọmọ Ìbàdàn yọ wọ́n ṣe bóṣù ló yọ. wọ́n ṣe bóṣù ló yọ ọmọ Ìbàdàn yọ wọ́n ṣe bóṣù ló yọ ọmọ Ìbàdàn yọ wọ́n ṣe bóṣù ló yọ àṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ yọ oṣù àbàrà bíntín ọmọ Ìbàdàn yọ wọ́n ṣe bóṣù ló yọ. Nìbàdàn tiwa owó la fi ń ṣayẹyẹ. Nìbàdàn tiwa owó la fi ń ṣayẹyẹ owó àpèkánukò. Nìbàdàn tiwa owó la fi ń ṣayẹyẹ ayélé. Owó la fi ń ṣayẹyẹ. Owó la fi ń ṣayẹyẹ owó àpèkánukò. Nìbàdàn tiwa owó la fi ń ṣayẹyẹ. Àjùwéjúwé ẹ̀nà ò mọ́lé wa. Àjùwéjúwé ẹ̀nà ò mọ́lé wa. Olúbàdàn olùyọ̀lé o. Àjùwéjúwé ẹ̀nà ò mọ́lé. Àjùwéjúwé ẹ̀nà ò mọ́lé wa. Àjùwéjúwé ẹ̀nà ò mọ́ bá wa o. Àjùwéjúwé ẹ̀nà ò mọ́ bá wa o. Rashidi Ládọjà Olúbàdàn. Àjùwéjúwé ẹ̀nà ò mọ́ bá wa o.
Ìbàdàn ọmọ àjòrò sùn ọmọ àjẹgbíyó ọmọ àfikàrà ń fọ́rí mu. Ìlú Ìbàdàn ìlú Ògúnmọ́lá olódògbò kẹ̀rí lójú ogun. Ìlú Ìbíkúnlé alágbàlá jáyàjáyà. Ìlú Àjàyí ògbórí ẹ̀fọ́ sá fìlà lójú ogun. Ìlú Látòṣà Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò Aṣúbíàrò Àgádágúdù. Ìbàdàn ìlú Olúyọ̀lé a kì í kúkú wáyé láláì lárùn kankan lára. Ìjà ìgboro láàrùn Ìbàdàn. Ìlú Ìbàdàn the pace setter. NTA WNTV Ìbàdàn the first television station in Africa. University of Ibadan, the first university in the nation. University College Hospital, the first teaching hospital in Nigeria. Liberty Stadium, the first sports stadium in Nigeria. National Museum of Unity Ibadan, the first Museum of Unity in Nigeria. I am proud of belonging to Ibadan. Ibadan ìlú mọ́dà mi. Ìyábọ̀dé Ògúnṣọlá alias Ẹfúnṣetán Aníwúrà tó forí ewì lé mi lọ́wọ́. Ìbàdàn dákun májà o. Bí ìtọ́jọ́ kínní èyí tẹ́ ẹ jára àdúgbò gbogbo lógun. Tára àdúgbò rojú, tára àdúgbò rà.
someone whose guidance and leadership have inspired many in the chemical sciences. She is a distinguished academia, the current head of department, Chemistry, University of Lagos. Please, a round of applause for her, and a dedicated mentor to many, including myself. She is my PhD supervisor and my mentor too. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Professor Tolulope Fashino to give us the vote of thanks.
So good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate our patience and the time we spent here today. I also will stand and appreciate the existing protocol. My duty is just to appreciate us for being here today. So I want to appreciate our distinguished guest, our host, the Vice Chancellor, University of Ibadan, who is our chief host, the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, ably represented by Dr. Stella Iguilo, the Commissioner of Health, Oyo State, the chairman of the occasion, Professor Sunday Okeniyi, who was a former president of the CSN, and all of us distinguished guests that are here, our respected colleagues, our So I want to appreciate all of us on behalf of the ACS Nigeria International Chemical Sciences Chapter for your contributions to the success of this 11th Annual Chemical Symposium. This symposium is taking place in the historic city of Ibadan, which for some of us is the first time of coming to Ibadan. So I want to appreciate as many as it's the first time of coming, please take time to visit some sites. As we have heard, there are some interesting sites to visit. Our being here today is committed to advancing chemistry. So thank you all for being here. To our keynote speaker and our invited guests, we appreciate your talk. We appreciate your insight into insightful perspectives, and we believe that the talk will have inspired some other people in chemistry research. So please feel free to meet with him for discussions during the course of the symposium. To our awardees, we appreciate you for your achievements and dedication to service, which exemplify excellence in science. We thank our sponsors. We thank the ACS. We thank the ACS Corporation Association grants. We gave us grants. We thank our partners, the Royal Society of Chemistry. We thank the University of Ibadan as an institution. We thank the Faculty of Science, and we thank specifically the Department of Chemistry. Every one of you donated generously, whether in terms of finance and support, to which have allowed this conference or this symposium to take off or to hold today. We appreciate. Yes, we appreciate you for your dedication, your tireless effort, which you have put in place to ensure a successful event. And to all our participants, both from the academia, from government, and from industry, we say thank you for being part of this symposium. Your contributions, and we believe your engagements during this symposium will give meaning to this event. As we proceed with the scientific sessions and the plenary lectures, we look forward to fruitful discussions, meaningful collaboration, and lasting networks to be built. Once again, we say thank you for coming Thank you for your presence, your support, and thank you because for the next 2 days, which will be interesting days of chemical engagement. Thank you very much. God bless you individually and collectively in Jesus' name. So please, after now we have the photographs. Then after the photographs, we'll have the lunch. And then after, we now come back for the plenary lectures. Thank you.
A round of applause for her. Thank you so much, ma. Please, may we call our attention to going back to the agenda. We have here in our midst one of the awardees. We called him when he was not around, but he's here seated in the house. It's my humble honor to call on Chief Said Oladele for his award. Please, can you come up? Oh, not you. Okay, representing Chief Said Oladele is here. I want to invite to the stage Professor Olayinka Sheku to please help us with the presentation. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everybody. Chief Said Oladele represented. Okay. On behalf of the American Chemical Society, this is an award of excellence for distinguished education category that is presented to Chief Said Oladele for impactful contributions to the advancement of science, technology, engineering, and medicine education in Nigeria. Congratulations, sir. Please extend our felicitations to you.
Congratulations, sir. Thank you so much, my dean. Thank you so much. So we are going to have the group photograph now. May I call the ACS Nigeria ESCO members to please come out for the group photograph. ACS ESCO members alone. ACS Chair, CBN ACS, Chair-elect, Dr. Thompson, Professor Valet, she's here. Can we quickly have their photograph and move on? Thompson, please, we need you here. LOC members, please start getting ready to can you come to join? Faculty advisors. Dr. Tim, where are they? Please join the fellowship. Let's go. Please, I still need you here. Invited speakers. Invited speakers and guests. Invited guests. All the invited guests, please join the expo. To us, so we are going to have your photograph different from this one. of the minister, Dr. Stella Igbino, will want to take a picture with the students. So all the students, make yourself available for this opportunity. You never know, when you want to visit the Ministry of Science and Technology, always go with this picture and show them where you're standing with Dr. Igbino. That will be an access code to you.